Good morning. My name is Chief Strongblood. I am St. Vincent and the Grenadines' favorite and most hated son. I am the diaspora between my people. It was another beautiful day for a protest and I enjoyed every moment of my protest. Let me first remind you, the front of my sign says, I don't want the white man's money, the white man's woman, the white man's friendship, and all the white man's freedom. And the reverse of my sign says, white man, why have you re-enslaved the African American, the Latinos, etc.? All in all, it was another beautiful day for a protest and I enjoyed every moment of my protest. There is nothing particularly interesting that I should bring to your attention as it relates to my protest. And as you know, when I have protested and when I have updated you as to what transpired while I protested, it is always my pleasure and my delight to bring to you something of a social nature as it relates to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Right, people?
I come in for Christmas, I come in. Oh, yeah, give me a word. I come in for Christmas, I come in. Oh, yo, yo, I'm cooking ready. I come in for Christmas, I come in.
As you would have learned in my video, I told you that I called someone in St. Vincent to inquire as to the rainforest seafood packaging company that Ralph Gonsalved and Camilo invited to St. Vincent and the Grenadines to do business. And the reason why I was inquiring about Rainforest Seafood Packaging Company is because I know that that company will not be successful in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It shows that Camilo Gonsalves nor his father understands business and how business operates, function, and what is required to make certain business profitable in a particular region or place. It is also a sign that the members of the Rainforest Seafood Packaging Company do not understand the business that they are getting involved in or they have been involved in. If they had any understanding of the business that they have gotten involved in, then they would have known better than to come to St. Vincent and the Grenadines to invest in the packaging of seafood. And let me explain to you the basics that any ordinary Vincentian would know. Anytime you are going to export a commodity, there must be certain conditions surrounding the commodity that are available. And the most important condition that must be available is an abundance of the commodity in the place from which you're going to be exporting from. Because it is only when there is an abundance of that commodity that that commodity will be sold cheap on the wholesale market, and therefore farmers or the producers of that commodity will be happy to sell them. Let me give you an example. When St. Vincent and the Grenadines were exporting bananas to England, we had such a large volume of bananas by design that it was able to satisfy the local market. And there was such an excess that the excess was being shipped to England at a very inexpensive price. There was so much bananas in St. Vincent and the Grenadines at that time that bananas locally was very cheap and in some cases free. Because there was an excess and overabundance of the fruit, the geese industry were able to purchase the excess fruits at a very low cost, and therefore it was able to cover shipping price, handling price, and transportation to and from the depot to the supermarket. Because of the overabundance of fruits, everyone benefited. The farmers benefited, geese industry benefited, the supermarket benefited, and the consumer in the United Kingdom also benefited. Now, the question you have to ask here, and the question that these fools should have been asking themselves before they invite someone to invest in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And the fools who invested in St. Vincent and the Grenadines should have asked, is there an overabundance of fish that is harvested in St. Vincent and the Grenadines so we can get fish at a very low cost to facilitate the trade we are involved in? Anyone who is a student of agriculture in St. Vincent and the Grenadines will know that in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the fishermen and women, they only harvest enough fish to satisfy the local market. And therefore, the fishermen demand and get top dollar for their product on a wholesale level, and the vendors demands and get the top dollar for their product at the retail level. There was never a case in St. Vincent and the Grenadines that stretched over a long period of time where there was such an abundance of fish that it was too much to supply the local market. Never had it been. There were cases when there was an abundance of fish where the fishermen had to sell their catch at a lower rate, and the vendors also did the same thing because there was so much fish. But it was not an overabundance of fish. What have happened in this case is because of our close proximity to the sea and the wealth of fish we have in our sea waters, Vincentians are accustomed to eating fresh fish whenever they feel like eating fish. I could remember in the 1980s, the early 80s, for a week or two, there was an overabundance of fish caught in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, where the vendors and the fishermen had to accept a lower price for the commodity. But after that period, things went back to normal. Therefore, if rainforest is going to be purchasing fish to package and export, they will have to purchase them at top dollar. And top dollar wholesale is only appropriate for the vendors, not for someone who is going to be cleaning the fish, packaging the fish, and exporting the fish. So if they are going to make a profit by packaging fish, it will not be successful. That is why I inquired, because I know when I heard they announced this business that this is going to be another failed adventure by the Unity Labour Party. From my inquiries, I've discovered that Rainforest Seafood Packaging only employ 16 workers. 16 workers. Remember, when they first come on stream, Ralph Gonsalved and Camilo Gonsalved said that they were going to employ X amount of workers. They had the attention of the Ministry of Finance and the Prime Minister's office. That is how big a deal they were supposed to be. But now they are just an ordinary operation that have employed only 16 workers. Bigger Bigs, block making company that Ralph Gonsalved spitefully destroyed, employed 60 workers, and now Ralph Gonsalved and Camilo Gonsalved is giving a company that is coming to St. Vincent and the Grenadines to do business that is only going to employ 16 workers the attention of the Ministry of Finance, the entire ministry, and the Prime Minister's office. 16 workers. It will be interesting to know how many pounds of fish that company have purchased and exported since they were in operation. I also get to information that Rainforest Sea Packaging Company is breaking the laws of St. Vincent and the Grenadines as it relates to the duty-free concession that they were given. My people, St. Vincent is a lawless country. Look, these foreigners come into our country and are breaking the law as to the duty-free concession that they are given. I am going to deal with this separately, but what I want to say is that Camilo Gonsalved and Ralph Gonsalved, they don't understand how business operates. Ralph Gonsalved never run a successful business, he wouldn't know. Camilo Gonsalved, the same thing. He tried a lot of things, even being a publisher of a newspaper, and he failed at it. I knew from the announcement that this company is going to be a failed company because of the environment that exists in St. Vincent and the Grenadines as it relates to the daily catch of fish of our fisher folks. There is not an overabundance of the harvesting of fish in St. Vincent and the Grenadines to facilitate this company. It's either one or two things that are going to happen. It's either the company is going to go out of business, or they're going to buy up all of the fish, and then there's going to be a scarcity of fish in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Remember when supporter Caesar took all of the cattle and the cows and shipped them to Grenada as a show, not because it was feasible, but as a show. A few months later, there was a scarcity of beef. The butchers couldn't find animal to purchase to sell and maintain and sustain their business. These people are operating based on guess and a thought come in their head. And instead of examining that thought and look at the pros and the cons and see the value of the thought, they act on it without any serious consideration or thought. My name is Chief Strongblood. I am St. Vincent and the Grenadines' favorite and most hated son. I am the diaspora chief. My people, like this video, share this video, leave a comment on this video, let me know what are your thoughts about this video. Remember, there are many more videos like this right here. Go and peruse those videos and let me know what are your thoughts. And remember to like or subscribe based on which social media platform you're viewing this from. I'll talk to you